Hey guys, welcome to CoffeeShop Vibes. Welcome to Ispirare Coffeehouse. Welcome to Kittanning, Pennsylvania. All right, guys, CoffeeShop Vibes. This is my weekly show where I try to answer some questions and help improve or enhance your coffee shop, specialty coffee shop experience. The sole purpose of the show is to focus on you, the consumer, the customer. Uniquely, our whole backstory is my wife and I, we used to go to specialty coffee shops. We fell in love with the nuances, fell in love with the vibes, and just the whole thing around coffee. It led us to become a wholesale coffee company, small roastery, and now finally open our own cafe in a small town here in Western PA. So these are questions that I used to ask when I was traveling the country, and now that I'm on the other side of the bar handling one of these are some great questions to ask. So today's show is going to be about the 5 best questions to ask a barista. Again, hopefully this enhances your coffee shop, your specialty coffee experience. All right, so question number 1, which is my favorite question, is what's your espresso? Now, everyone will typically say what's on drip, right, or what their filter coffee is. But a lot of places don't, have it on their menu what actually is the espresso blend. And uniquely enough, many coffee shops will actually offer a completely different espresso, different roasting company than what they have as drip. So I always like to ask what your espresso is, right? And that will determine, maybe what drink I get. Will I get a, double shot espresso? Will I get a cortado? Something where I can taste the espresso, or will I get something more unique, right? Or more flavorful, like a latte with, mocha or something along those lines, right? It also builds into the second best question, which is the best follow-up question to that. What's your drip coffee? Now, most places now are offering 2 drip coffee selections. A lot of specialty coffee houses do that. However, what is interesting to note, even here at Ispirare Coffeehouse, well, we have 1 coffee through the Fedco brewer, but we can make any of our coffees, right? If you want the Allegheny blend, we'll make it as a pour-over for you. And by asking those questions, I feel that the baristas open up a little bit and they say, well, we have this and this, but we also have this, Tanzanian or the Sumatran bean or whatever it may be. You might want to try this, and they'll actually make it for you. So it's a good build-up question, and sometimes can get you to taste some coffees that might not be front of the menu, top of the menu, but they'll kind of share with you. So second question, what's your drip coffee? But always start with the espresso. I think that kind of builds things up, right? Lets them know you're serious, right? Anyway, question number 3, probably the best question, especially if you're traveling. What do you recommend, right? I mean, the baristas are making drinks all day. They know what's popular. They know what takes the most time, what has the most craft, right? Someone asked that question to me. Sometimes they'll ask where you're from, too, if this is your first time in the coffee shop or not, right? Your first time in the coffee shop, or if you're traveling from far away, sometimes I'll recommend our maple latte, which is made with, local maple syrup here from the Kittanning area. Our Himalayan mocha is kind of a drink we invented here at Ispirare Coffeehouse, so I might recommend that. During the spring, maybe the honey lavender because we use local honey. But we, as a barista, would know, hey, what's popular? And you might follow up with, hey, well, what do you like? And then I can maybe give you a choice of one of those drinks. But that's such a great question to ask. What do you recommend? Because absolutely, we'll recommend different drinks. I'm not sure of a barista out there who wouldn't have a couple good drink recommendations for you as well, and they'll try to match what they think you want. So always great question. What do you recommend? And I feel we don't get that question enough. Question number 4, especially if you're traveling. What's your favorite place to eat, right? I tell you what, baristas are on top of the food scene. In Kittanning, we get that question a lot. It's actually, I think I get it more than what you recommend. We're a good place to go to eat, especially people who travel. They come up from the city of Pittsburgh. We recommend the Meredith Inn a lot. If it's lunchtime or someone wants some sushi, we'll tell them to go here across the street to Yamato. But yeah, so that's such a great question to ask, because they know the neighborhood well. And they hear people, right? They know what the customers are doing, the locals. So it's a great question, especially if you're traveling. And finally, the fifth best question to ask a barista is just how you're doing, and especially during this COVID time, right? We don't have these interactions as much, right? And even with a mask, right? I know there's a lot of baristas who have unique stories. Look at my story. Right? I worked in Silicon Valley, and now I work in environmental marketing. I can talk everything from Italian football to Dodger baseball to, you name it, right? And it's really cool. I mean, I love when people engage with me about something even other than coffee. And there's so many baristas who have so many unique stories. they'll be happy to share with you. And reversely, you know, one of the reasons we like to be open and want to be open during the pandemic is because it gives people a chance to get out, right? Especially in Western PA where it's great. We might not see the sun for a week. To get out and converse, and even if it's only for 2 or 3 minutes, we try to brighten up your day and have some type of conversation. The interaction between humans, I think, is so important. It can be so powerful. So, like I said, a lot of people here are working hard. It's very tough times to be working in, especially coffee industry, the food industry. So just ask them how they're doing. I'm sure they'll have a lot of great responses. And, maybe, and hopefully there'll be lots of value that you guys can get back from an exchange. But don't hesitate to reach out. Just ask them how they're doing. And I'm sure, again, it can lead to a really valuable conversation, especially now when we need to have these conversations here during COVID. All right, guys, so those are the 5 best questions to ask a barista. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. Maybe if you have a question you like, put it in the comments. And check back next week for another edition of Coffee Shop Vibes. If you haven't followed me on YouTube, please do so. I look forward to engaging with you. All right, guys, live inspired, and we'll see you next week.